everyone, welcome back to Rebecca's Colouring Arts and Crafts. So this is a little full, but basically what I wanted to do here is I wanted to talk about the Goldsboro Books Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship and the Goldsboro Books Premier Club editions, or what was formerly Goldsboro Books Book of the Month Club, which is now Goldsboro Premier Club. So I just wanted to talk about those today and say my experiences with Goldsboro Books and the benefits and advantages and everything like that with this, and just how I found my experience, what I think of Goldsboro Books after trying it for a while. If I'll keep going, you obviously know I'm going to keep going back to it, but yeah, I basically wanted to do a general review, read from their website about the Premier Club, and discuss how that's worked for me and the advantages I've had from it. Also read about the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship from their website as well, and then discuss about the advantages and what I've enjoyed about that. And yeah, so I guess we'll get into it. So I'll go over first. I started collecting Goldsboro Book of the Month Club books around October last year, I think it was. So I actually started with just purchasing them solo first before I decided to sign up for the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship. The Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship only started about 4 or 5 months ago. It started in April this year anyway. But I first signed up for the Goldsboro Books Book of the Month Club after I actually purchased the first 2 books of the Book of the Month Club solo, and then I realised I was loving the sound of all the books they were releasing with the Book of the Month Club, the range, the variation, the fact that it threw me in areas that I really didn't sort of expect, and I typically am enjoying the book editions and stuff that I receive and the stories and all of that. So I started in October last year with solo buying the books, and then realised, hang on, I'm just going to keep getting these books. So then I started getting, so then I decided to sign up for the subscription, and I haven't looked back since. So the ones that I started with was Stefan Chbosky's Imaginary Friend by Goldsboro Books, and the reason why, well, I guess I can discuss that after, but the reason, I just discuss it now, but the reason why I love Goldsboro Books Premier Club is because they not only do signed first editions, but they also offer exclusive features. So in this one, it's like an exclusive undercover dust jacket. It's signed and numbered. It's got sprayed edges, so black sprayed edges, all of that sort of thing. And so for me, well, I like all those things, but I also like the collectible aspect of their books and how good a quality they come in and blah, 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 but we'll go into that more later. So I'm just going to go over the books that we've had so far up to this point, and then I'm going to go into the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship books and say the books we've had to this point, or maybe I'll go over no, actually, I'm going to go over the Premier Club first and discuss that. Then I'll go into the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship books and discuss that. So, yeah, pretty much I started with I bought the first 2 Book of the Month Book Club books, which was Imaginary Friend and The Lost Ones by Stefan Chbosky and Anita Frank. And this was our October-November series of Goldsboro books. And then I was sort of really wanting Black 16 or, yeah, Black 13. By Adam Hamdy, and I really love the sound of Long Bright River. Like, I haven't gotten to read all of these yet because of my review stuff, but I really, really want to read it. Like, I have read The Last Day because that happened to be a review book I had. But so we sort of went through, and the books to date from October was Imaginary Friend by Stefan Chbosky. November was The Lost Ones by Anita Frank. December was Black 13 by Adam Hamdy. January was Long Bright River by Liz Moore. February was The Last Day by Andrew Hunter Murray. March was A Paragon by Colin McCann. April was The Yellowbird Sings by Jennifer Rosner. May was The Creek on the Stairs by May was The Creek on the Stairs by Eva Bjorg Aegisdotter, I think it is. June was The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant. And July, which is the one I've just received today, was The Phone Box at the Edge of the World by Laura M.I. Messina. And so I have found with Goldsboro Books, you're not specifically going to get a specific genre. Like, you might sometimes get a horror genre, you might sometimes get a contemporary, you might sometimes get historical fiction, you might get crime, you might get fantasy, as Court of Miracles is fantasy. So it's very much a wide range of books, and they tend to try and choose it based on what is good at that time, but also to throw, I guess, not throw you in the deep end, but try to give you good quality reading in a signed exclusive first edition that is that hopefully will end up as a collector's edition in the end, and is an investment into the future. And so I'm just going to read the Premier Club information here off their website. So I've just got it on my iPad here, but I'm just going to read this information about the subscription. And so and then I'll talk about how it has benefited me and what I've enjoyed about it. Obviously you all know that I love Goldsboro Books and I'm going to keep buying there. That's no, that's pretty much a guarantee, basically, because I really love their store and yeah, everything about it. But yeah, I'll discuss that after. So it says, why become a Premier member? So it says, every single title we curate for our newly named Premier membership subscription is a great work of fiction by a talented author. But that's where the similarities end. We love to offer lots of variety, hence what I was talking about with the different genres, across different styles and genres, cherry picking the best new fiction when it's hot off the press. You know the ones we mean, the ones that keep you up all night because you need to know what happens, the books you want to be proud to have on your shelves. And then some of our benefits here is premium limited edition books, so unique first edition signed custom designed books. So as you saw, they've all got like exclusive features. Sometimes it might be end papers, sometimes it's sprayed edges, like a lot of the time it's sprayed edges. I will admit, I'm looking at my collection here and probably only 3 of the books that I've gotten, oh no, 2 of the books that I've gotten actually. 2 of the books that I've gotten are actually unsprayed edges. The rest are all sprayed edges. So pretty much you're going to get sprayed edges the majority of the time with their Premier Club. Out of the Premier books, yeah, I've only got 1 book out of the Premier books that is not sprayed edges. And out of the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship so far, I've only got 1 book that's not sprayed edges. So it's things like sprayed edges, exclusive end papers, could be an exclusive dust jacket, could be a ribbon incorporated in the book, obviously signed and numbered, first editions, all of that. And then it's also an investment into your passion, and it says our unique books are estimated to go up by 300% in value. So I've noticed some of these books have gone up a bit in value so far. I'm not sure how much, but I'm sure with time and popularity, books will go up in value, because I have noticed some of my Goldsboro books I've already got have gone up quite a bit in value. Access to exclusive content, insights from renowned authors and book connoisseur David Headley. So what they mean by access to exclusive content is every month or so they send you an email and it's offering you exclusive access to at least 2 books of different genres. or ranges sometimes 3, it sort of depends. But basically you're offered exclusive access to them before it goes out to the general public, so you can actually purchase them before it goes out to the general public and I guess have that opportunity to guarantee yourself the book. 15% off all book purchases. As a premium member, you'll also get 15% off all Goldsboro book purchases. I have used that advantage a lot, and particularly lately, and I will say and mean a lot. Also, I've found another advantage with that 15% off all book purchases is that you actually also, when they send out their discount codes for access, say for like end of the year discount codes or independent bookseller week codes, that actually stacks on top of your 15%. So if they send out a 10% code, rather than 15% that you usually get, you get 25% off. Or if it's a 20% code and you've already got your 15%, you get 35% off the books that you purchase. Request your edition number, exclusive edition number matching to your current collection for premium members. I have had the advantage of that with some of the books that I've purchased in the past, but also I'm starting to notice it now. I don't know if I did it with the Premier Club, but with the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship, I have sort of asked if I can get lower numbers of the books rather than higher, and I have noticed that they are paying attention to that and will do that. Also, with series that I've previously bought the first book, I am able to basically guarantee myself the matching number to that book. More member exclusives. So I haven't been able to work out how to access all of these member exclusives, but basically from what I know, you've got exclusive access, like a lot of the Premier Club books, from what I know now, I don't think they go on general sale on the normal website. I'm not totally sure, or normal people's accounts that don't have a Premier Club membership. I haven't actually checked that out. I probably should, but I haven't checked that out because obviously I'm a premium member and I can see them there available. But I think basically what is happening now is that the Premier Club books are actually exclusive, particularly to Premier Club members, so no one else, unless they're a Premier Club member, can actually purchase the book. I've also noticed sometimes now they're starting to put a limit of 1 per book for those subscriptions, so people have the advantage of getting them. But I think there's also supposed to be a Premier Club membership area you can go into. I haven't worked out how to access that. I also know there's a special Premier Club member email that you can email rather than the general Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship email or their general email in general, basically, and I have used that, and you do tend to get responses back a lot quicker having that access and that premium membership access. From what I know, I think it's set at $24.99 per month plus shipping. So you have to pay shipping on top, but shipping actually isn't bad in the case of Goldsboro Books. For me to Australia, it's about £7.05 for shipping, which is actually really decent. Like, compare that to my Very Loot subscription. I pay £16 for shipping for that. Like, these books probably don't weigh as much, but it does come untracked. I haven't had a single book go missing yet. And the one time when I thought a book had gone missing with the COVID stuff and that, I contacted them, and just in case that was with my Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship, and they actually put a copy of that book aside for me in case it didn't arrive in the when I had to go back to them and let them know about that. And so they come untracked, but I haven't actually noticed them go missing at all. I haven't had a single book go missing, and they always turn up in perfect condition no matter how battered the box is. As I said, as a member they give you access to other exclusive editions before anyone else. And there's also apparently exclusive interviews and other content that will be available only to premium members. I haven't worked out how to access that or see that yet, but I'm sure it's there, but need to work it out. As for the 15% off every book that you purchase from Goldsboro Books. So basically, how the 15% works is it's applied directly to your account. So the minute you sign in, every book automatically has that 15% taken off it. So you add it to your cart and basically every single book has 15% off. So I have honestly spent a lot at Goldsboro Books recently and in the past, and I've probably actually, by having that 15% off, I've probably actually saved quite a bit in the long run. Like, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but in the end it is a lot. Like, there was one book that I got, I think it was Aurora Rising it was. And it was like, without the discount, it was like, I think £150, I think it was, because I'm just saying, because it's a collector's book that has gone up in value, and I really wanted to add that collection book to my thing. And I happened to have it at the Christmas time. I already had my 15% off Premier Club membership, but then they also sent out an email offering an extra 20% off, which meant that I was able to save about £50 before shipping was added back on again. And so, whilst it still costs a lot, it is a book that's worth something to me in the collector's sense. And so it saved me quite a lot of money. Other books, it might only be £3-4, but over time that £3 or £4 does add up, particularly with currency exchange. And so I have found a big advantage to having a discount on all their books, particularly because I buy from them whenever I can, and I'm really guilty of that, and I love their books. I've got like 22 books that I've ordered recently that will all be coming over the months of August, September, October. Yeah, and one in November at least. And yeah, let's just say maybe I went a little overboard, but I really love their editions, and they're worth having to me for the collector's aspect, the fact they come in perfect quality. They're just, basically overall, I have had a very positive experience with the Goldsboro Books, what is now their Premier Club edition. I've also had times where I've emailed them on Instagram about questions or direct message them, and they've responded very fast. Messages via email, a very fast response. I post photos of their books on Instagram quite a bit, and I was shocked when they actually subscribed and followed me, and they're so amazing about that. And it's like, if they ever start up their rep program again one day, I'm definitely going to be applying for it because I love it. But I've had nothing but good experiences with Goldsboro Books. I haven't had a single bad experience since I have started getting from them. Like, yes, with currency exchange it is a little more, but for me, the quality, the types of books, the fact they're collector's editions, everything like that, it's completely worth it to me. I have nothing bad to say about that aspect. And so next we're going to go on to the Goldsboro Books Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship. And yeah, also that's another thing I forgot to mention. If you get 4 or more books that come out in the one order, basically rather than coming untracked, basically they will pack them all in a parcel box and send them all to you at once. So I've had this experience once before, and it's actually happened again with my recent purchases. But basically they will send it out via Parcel Force with priority shipping, and you actually get a tracking number with those ones. So if you buy at least 4 books that go out in the one shipping area, so altogether. And I actually was surprised the last time I got that, and it'll probably be slightly longer now with COVID obviously, but I was surprised because those books, it was like 6 or 8 books or something, and it arrived in about 1 week, and I was shocked at that. And obviously it takes longer untracked, like that's just a general thing. It still comes via airmail, but it does take longer untracked. But if you do buy the 4 or more books, it does come via parcel with tracking, and it does come very fast. And yeah, I was shocked that time when it arrived in about a week, and it might take a little longer now with COVID, but I'm following tracking, and it's like within 1 or 2 days, basically my parcel is already ready to be exported. It's just waiting on a plane to get to Australia. But yeah, I've had very good experience. I also noticed too, the more books you buy per order, the actual less in shipping charge. I also noticed too, as for when they charge books, if you've got multiple books ordered, depending on if they've released or not yet, like I've noticed they don't always take them all out at once, but I've noticed if there's multiple books that are released in a similar time period, they will actually charge them all at the one time. So you will receive, they actually charge you temporarily at the time of order, then release the money back into your account. Then they actually charge you when the book is released. So you don't have to necessarily have the money to pay for it at the time if there's a book edition that you're wanting, but you just can't get it right now because you don't have the funds. You can actually put in that temporary order, they will release the money back into your account, and then take the money out at the time the book is released. So I have used that feature a bit, but I've also noticed too, sometimes, like say when your monthly, when your Premier Club book comes out, sometimes if you've got another book that comes out close to that one or whatever, they'll charge you for it at the same time, and they will ship them together, or ship them together, but basically the shipping actually also comes down cheaper when they ship multiple books together, or you get multiple books on the one order. So rather than paying £7.05 for the book, which sometimes I still order single books, you actually get the books for shipping for like £6.25 each kind of thing. So you're paying per book for the shipping. So the shipping will increase with the more books you add, but the shipping also gets slightly cheaper with the more books you add. So yeah, I hope that helps. I've had a very positive experience with the Premier Club and all of that. So next I'm going to go on to the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Fellowship. Obviously my August book isn't here yet. Same for the Premier Club, my August book isn't here yet. I only just received the July box today because, as I said, they came untracked, so basically it can take up to a month or 2 months, sometimes 2 months with the COVID stuff to get here to Australia. It can sometimes come quicker too, it just varies. But yeah, so the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Fellowship is the Goldsboro Books Sci-Fi and Fantasy Fellowship, GSFF, is a monthly service that offers, also with the Premier Club, sorry, just forgot this, I think you can get, you need to get a maximum of 8 books a year from the Goldsboro Premier Club, I'm pretty certain. I think with the Premier Club you do get to keep your 15% subscription if you do skip a month. But I'm not totally sure how that works, so I can't actually guarantee that. Same for the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship. I think you used to basically cancel it, but I'm not sure if now you can skip or what. I'm sort of not really certain on that aspect of things because I haven't actually skipped anything or done that. So I would recommend checking that out and not taking my advice particularly on that. I would recommend checking that out with them before you go skipping something or before you order a Premier Club subscription or a Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship subscription, just because I'm not totally certain on that aspect of things. But yeah, anyway, back to the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship. So it says the Goldsboro Books Sci-Fi and Fantasy Fellowship, GSFF, is a monthly service that offers exclusive signed limited editions of the best sci-fi fiction, sci-fi fantasy fiction delivered straight to your doorstep. So it's obviously going to be a first edition sci-fi or fantasy book. We want to support sci-fi and fantasy authors in exciting new ways and provide our fellowship with exclusive titles and content in addition to the exclusive monthly offering. So also with this one, you basically get exclusive offers to exclusive editions of books before other people get access to them and that sort of thing. So joining our fellowship, $21.99 a month plus shipping, so you have to pay shipping on top, you'll get access to these exclusive perks. An exclusive signed first edition fantasy or sci-fi title a month, carefully chosen by our resident sci-fi fantasy experts. Many of these will have additional features like sprayed edges and more. Exclusive access to Goldsboro Books exclusive sci-fi fantasy titles that won't be available to anyone else. And I'm not sure quite how that works. Like I noticed sometimes they have a membership only book with the Premier Club, so I'm assuming it's something like that with Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship, but I'm not actually certain if I've ordered any of those books in particular yet or not. So we'll have to see about that. And I've just looked at the time and it's getting close to time. But yeah. 15% off all other purchases at Goldsboro Books. Please note this discount will not stack with existing Book of the Month Club discounts, so it doesn't stack. But I think what they said too was if you do, I think, skip a month with the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship or whatever, you don't actually get the 15% discount off the books you get for that month. Whereas the Premier Club, I think the 15% discount does stay even if you skip a month. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. And access to other sci-fi fantasy goodies like exclusive previews, author content, bookmarks and more. So yeah, the books that we've had so far have been Goldilocks by Laura Lamb, which was our April book and the starting book. A Phoenix Extravagant by Yoon Ha Lee, which was our May book. A Declaration of the Rights of Magicians, which was our June book by H.D. Parry. And The Story of Silence by Alex Myers. So some of these books are solo novels, some are actually series or continuing series. So I've noticed too, a lot of the Premier Club books and I'm not sure that the sci-fi fantasy books will be completely solo novels. I'm assuming they're going to be more series possible in the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship, but I've noticed with the Premier Club at least, a lot more of the books are solo novels, so it is something to consider, but there is a lot more variation, whereas the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship is specifically dedicated to fantasy and sci-fi. And I'm just going to stop briefly and continue, and yeah, I'll be back in a minute. So hey everyone, I'm back. So yeah, as I was saying, the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship is more specifically dedicated to a specific interest of sci-fi fantasy books, whereas the Premier Club is a lot more variation. As for, I guess, me in general, I really love these subscription editions. As I said, I've been getting stuff from them now since about September, October last year. And I haven't had a single book come damaged. I haven't had a single problem with their customer service or anything. I just really love what it is. Bleh. I really love Goldsboro Books in general, and I have had a very, very, very positive experience with them. The reason why they do come undamaged completely is because they're particularly bubble wrapped. You also get an exclusive, they do an exclusive free service where they put a protective cover on your dust jacket sleeve to protect the book from scratches or damage, that sort of thing. And I love that little aspect of it. I love the fact that they're signed and numbered, they're exclusive, but I also love the fact that if you buy the first edition of a book series, they will actually email you when the second book is going to come out and offer you pre-access to everyone else so that you can guarantee a copy of that book, but also guarantee a matching number of that book. So you can actually continue your series and have matching signed and numbered editions. I haven't been able to get it every single time just because of funds, basically. But I sort of try now, whenever they offer the second edition of a series, I aim to get it because I really love being able to have that pre-order access and continue a series. So like I've got a couple of series, a few series I'm definitely continuing, like Aurora Rising, I've got Jen Lyon's book series and a few others like that I've sort of bought the first book, and because I bought the first book, Goldsboro specifically pre-orders me access to those, so I get at least 3 days access before it goes on general sale to other people to order the next book in that series and also get the matching number access to that. And I actually have taken advantage of that quite a bit whenever I can. Like, I'm not so worried if it's something that I haven't gotten the first book of, but I now tend to try and get the first book of a set rather than ordering the second book and then not being able to get the first and blah blah blah. And then I just fill in those ones with just normal editions, but typically I like to be able to try and get. Now I tend to only buy the book if it's a first book of it, so that then I can continue the series with the second book and third book and so on and so forth if it's longer than a trilogy or if it's a duology or any of that, because that's just how I like to do it. But I find that is a very nice aspect that you do have, that you are able to continue your series just because of the fact that they do take that special care to offer someone who has previously bought from them access to the next book in that series or that duology or the trilogy or any of that. So it is a very nice aspect that they've got that customer loyalty there. Yeah, as I was saying, emails and so on and so forth, I've had amazing things with that. They've always come back and answered what I've said. They've honestly told me if it's something that I can't do, like this. At least one book that I got in the series, Blood Air, that I actually can't, that I'm probably not going to be able to get the second continuing edition to because someone else bought it. I had a falling out with them, and yeah, it kind of, as a result, like, even though it was sent to me, it wasn't purchased through my email, and they tend to use emails to tell who actually bought from them. That's again to do with the customer loyalty and to try and avoid people coming to them and saying, well, I got this edition from you and yet it didn't come from my email, and sending out more emails than is actually available in the book, and as a result the people who actually genuinely bought the book from them don't end up with a copy of the book. I guess that's a way to try and avoid those situations happening. So I can completely understand it from that side point of view. But it's like, and I appreciate that, considering the fact that I have done that. But I also understand where they are coming from with the fact that they actually can't send me that because it actually wasn't purchased from my email. So even though it was sent to me, and that is on their records, typically they do use email records to tell who purchased the books and then send the pre-orders to those particular emails. And so I can understand why they do it that way, just to do with customer loyalty and avoiding heaps of people coming on and saying, oh, hang on, we bought this book from you through someone else, and will we be able to get pre-order access? And then people who actually genuinely ordered from them missing out due to people saying this, and maybe it's not, like, I'm not saying a lot of people like that, but generally some people will be out there to try and benefit from that, but then people might miss out more because, like, you'll know about, like, scalpers and stuff like that. They might try and buy the book editions, and as a result someone else will miss out on continuing their series because of that. So I kind of think that's sort of Goldsboro's way of trying to stop those situations from occurring, and I think it is a very good method because I know personally I would be disappointed if I didn't get to continue my series, because other people had been sent emails and in the end they actually hadn't bought it. They were just buying it to sell it on or whatever. So yeah, I completely understand where they're coming from with that. And like, I wasn't disappointed in their response. I kind of expected that response, but I was sad for the fact that being a book collector, I wouldn't be able to continue that series. But I guess we'll see. Who knows? I may end up lucky. You never know. But yeah, I really do appreciate the fact that Goldsboro really does have that customer loyalty. So yeah, this review did end up a bit longer. Overall, in general, as I said, my experience has been very positive with Goldsboro Books. I haven't had a single negative experience at all with them, and I really would recommend subscribing to their Premier Club or their Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship if you're interested. From what I know, I think they're still taking subscriptions for September, but I'm not sure. They have actually closed subscriptions some months because they've gotten so many people subscribing that, and only a limited number of books. Like, I think they've only got like some of these books are only like 750 copies, some are only 1,000 copies. That seems to be the maximum that I have seen so far, or some are only 700 copies. So there's only like 700 spots some months, or 1,000 spots some months, and that's it, maximum kind of thing. So they're kind of, it is a limited subscription places. And from what I heard recently on their Instagram, because I follow their Instagram, they're actually getting close to having to close down the Premier Club for the rest of the year because of everyone subscribing to their new Premier Club as well. So, and the Premier Club is also the same. I've only seen maximum size of the limited edition books at about 1,000 copies. So I'm not sure if they ever go over 1,000 copies, but I've only ever received books that have had 1,000 copies in it. Well, a number out of 1,000, obviously. So I haven't actually seen anything higher, so I don't know if they would go higher or not. But it does seem to be a very limited, exclusive first edition book club kind of thing. And I love that fact about it. And the fact that they do limit the books to, say, 1,000 copies. I think I heard somewhere that sometimes they go to 2,000, but I don't know. But yeah, I love the fact that the books are like some of the books that I've gotten are like, it had only 150 copies or 250 copies. So it's sort of, they really are exclusive, limited, signed, numbered collector's editions, and they really focus on the collector's side of things. And I love that about them. Yeah, and it feels really special receiving a signed and numbered book that's one of only 1,000 editions available of that edition in the world, kind of thing. It feels very special to have that on your shelf. So yeah, just in general, yeah, I'm loving the Goldsboro Books Premier Club. I'm also loving the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship. I don't intend on leaving either of them. I did actually quit the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship after June, then I decided, May, and then I just, for June, and then I decided, no, I'm going to resubscribe to the June one because I love Goldsboro Books too much, and I love every month. The happiest days are when I'm receiving books every month. And I particularly love when my Goldsboro Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship and my Premier Club books come in the mail. It is such a happy, joyous, special time, and I love that time of the month. I also love when I receive my Fairy Loot boxes as well in the month. And it's just such a happy time to get to receive those books in the mail each month and have something special come each month that is, it really is something special, particularly if you're a book collector or a book lover like me, or even a book nerd like me, I guess you could say. But yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this bit of a review anyway. In general, my experience with Goldsboro Books has been completely positive. I would definitely recommend using them, no matter where you are. If hopefully they ship to you. From what I know, they pretty much ship worldwide, I think. There could be places missing, like some companies have. I don't know. Being Australia, I've never had that problem. But yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this bit of a review anyway, and a bit of a talk and discussion about Goldsboro Books Premier Club and the Sci-Fi Fantasy Fellowship. Yeah, I'm really loving it. As you can tell, I haven't skipped a month or anything, and I really cannot wait till I get to read more of these books, but review catch-ups first. But I'm sure I'll fit them in eventually. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this, please leave a like, subscribe, comment. I always love hearing from you, and I will see you later. Bye!